take care of us and the whole Gambia.
It was one of those encounters Gambians continue to have with President Jammeh, and this recent one with his batch mates and their families will no doubt be ingrained in the hearts of not only his mates but those of their children and grandchildren, many of whom are to benefit from his scholarship packages. Aissatou Badian Sarr, GRTS.
The wife of Alhaji Boto Sane, a prominent APRC party loyalist in the U.S., Monday evening passed away after a long battle with illness. The President, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh, sent a sum of $100,000 as a token of condolence to the family of the late Ida Bah through a delegation headed by Her Excellency the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs. The delegation, comprising senior government officials, service chiefs, and the Imam of the State House Mosque, prayed for the deceased whilst highlighting the great loss to the President and the entire APRC party. The late Ida Bah was a strong APRC loyalist, along with her husband, Alhaji Boto Sane, who met with the Vice President on the sidelines of her recent trip to the 57th session of the UN Commission on the Status of Women in New York. She was laid to rest today at the Old Joshua Cemetery. May her soul rest in eternal peace. The Independent Electoral Commission Tuesday morning conducted a briefing for its election observers ahead of Thursday's local government polls. The over 200 local and international observers are expected to monitor the polls in 761 polling stations spread across the country. Mamadou Jallo has the details.
To ensure a free, fair and transparent poll, observers are also a crucial element towards the successful conduct and outcome of the process. It is against this backdrop that the Independent Electoral Commission this morning held a briefing for the over 200 election observers, both domestic and international. The chairman of the IEC, Alhaji Mustafa Kereyol, explained to the observers that the elections will be conducted in 45 of the 114 wards countrywide. He also gave a breakdown of the various polling stations where voters are expected to cast their ballot.
In all the 114 wards, 10 candidates were nominated through the NRP ticket, and 40 independent candidates got their candidates endorsed by the IEC for councillorship. One independent candidate withdrew, leaving the number to 39. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, consequently, elections will be held in 45 wards out of the 114 wards. 761 polling stations out of the 1,300 polling stations will be used, and 481,884 voters are to vote in these elections, and the breakdown is as follows. Banjul Administrative Area, 33 polling stations. Kanifing Administrative Area, 269 polling stations. Birkama Administrative Area, 190 polling stations. Kerewan Administrative Area, 57 polling stations. Mansakonko Administrative Area, 13 polling stations. Janjambure Administrative Area, 119 polling stations. Basse Administrative Area, 80 polling stations.
Chairman Kereyol therefore urged the observers to fully monitor the polls to render the vote credible.
Election observation is to ascertain the fairness and freeness of the elections and render credibility to the eventual results of the election to both the national and international community. And I encourage all the observers to measure up to expectation by being objective. I also wish to encourage you to write and submit your reports to the Commission so that the concerns you raise and the advice you give in the form of recommendation will be considered.
The Police Commissioner of Operations, Usman Jiba, also said they have deployed over 1,500 general duty officers to man the 761 polling stations across the country.
These men and women from the Gambia Police Force have series of training on election duties. and I am with confidence that they will excel on their assignment. Furthermore, we have instituted standby units in all the regions where elections are to be held, and also instituted standbys around the wards where elections are to be held.
Sambujan Jai of the IEC said everything is now in place for the elections following the deployment of personnel and materials to all the regions. He also said that counting will be done at the polling stations before results are taken to the 7 collation centers to be announced by the IEC chairman. Mamadou Diallo, GRTS.
Now 208 personnel of the Gambia Armed Forces have completed a 3-week pre-deployment training program and are set for peacekeeping mission in the restive Sudanese region of Darfur. Louis Mendy was at the passing out ceremony at the Fujara Barracks and reports the vital lessons for immediate and accurate decisions when confronted with difficulties during the peacekeeping mission was provided by senior instructors from the Gambia Armed Forces under the supervision of the Royal Gibraltar Regiment of the British Army.
Gambia's commitment to regional and world peace manifests itself once again as 208 personnel of the Gambia Armed Forces are set for deployment to the restive Sudanese region. The Darfur-bound men and women recently completed what was described as a successful 3-week pre-deployment training program. Lessons learned during the synergy included loss of armed conflicts, convoy operations, and patrol procedures.
Your duties will include not limited to base securities, patrolling, escorting of dignitaries within that area. All these things can be very normal and there will be no violence involved. But in some instances, we've been all out there and you see that sometimes it tries to get out of hand. Without knowing what to do in those instances, it can cause a problem that will be very difficult to take care of.
Lessons provided by senior instructors from the Gambia Armed Forces under the supervision of the Royal Gibraltar Regiment of the British Army are vital for so many reasons. Beneficiaries are now equipped with skills and knowledge for immediate and accurate decision when confronted with difficulties during the peacekeeping mission.
Congratulations to all of you for completing 3 weeks of hard training. Throughout these 3 weeks you will have learnt tactics, techniques and procedures which are designed to protect you, your life and that of others. And it is very important that when you go off now, you do not forget it. So be sure that you revise your notes, you think about what you've done, so that just before you go out to Darfur, you remember all the good training you have received.
The British High Commissioner to the Gambia, David Morley, graced the ceremony. He argued that the rapid changes in regional security calls for the need to nurture the long-standing military cooperation between the Gambia and the Great Britain.
It's amazing how things change in the region. This isn't to undermine the excellent work you do in Darfur. Your country should be proud of you. You've all helped over the years to establish a very high reputation for the Gambia, and I'm quite confident that you will continue to perform in the best traditions of the Gambia's well-demonstrated regional commitments and support.
The Gambia Armed Forces is renowned for its standing in peacekeeping arenas. Therefore, as the gallant men and women in uniform prepare to leave the shores of the Smiling Coast, the expectation couldn't be different.
I therefore have no doubt in my mind that you are now well equipped with the knowledge and skills required to conduct your peace support operations effectively and efficiently in any area of operation you are deployed to. I therefore, on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff, officers and all ranks of the Gambia Armed Forces, want to singularly thank His Excellency the President, Sir Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh, for giving his continuous support of the Gambia Armed Forces and having approved the training